Hey guys, welcome back to the Sensor Pop channel. What we're gonna do this week is we're gonna try out something special. For me, I've been having quite a bit of rest day, not exactly a rest day, for Christmas, for New Year's, usually the days, even though you're not going to work, it's so hectic, Actually, I've not been resting a lot. So for the past few weeks, I've been asking myself, what are some of the things that I could contribute to the Dragon Ball Super community? And one of the things that I thought about is to make some how-to videos. So these are the new series of videos that I would like to bring out. They are like how to pilot a deck. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take very specific decks or popular decks that are playing now in the community or in our current meta, and I'm gonna break it down and not just show like what are some of the cards that have been played, what are the how many cards per deck you play a certain cards, if that makes sense. So without further ado, we see each other after the short intro. Let's talk about the leader. He has a permanent that you cannot include battle cards that are you cannot include cards that have 5 or more energy in your deck. And also when this card attacks, you get to draw 1 card. He attacks. Take note, you don't have to attack your opponent's leader. Unlike most of the cards, most of the leaders, you don't have to attack your opponent's leader. When he attacks, you get to draw 1 card and your opponent has to mill 2, which is a very unfair way to make this deck. But he has a pretty problem, quite a big down on his part with this permanent, so I can understand why he does have an advantage to his auto. Alright, so I'm not going to talk about the other side, because the other side, it's basically one of the sides that you don't want to reach there. It does exactly the same thing. When he attacks, you get to draw 1 card, and also when this card is being attacked, you get to drop 1 blue card from your hand and you get to negate the attack. Alright, and you can use it only once per game, which is pretty good, because of the whole idea that this deck is being very defensive. So how are you going to play this deck? If you think that this is the 2 main cards from for your deck, you are not wrong, but I would not say that you're 100% correct, because the important card for this deck is this card, and this card. The whole idea for this deck is you want to survive. You want to survive, you want to survive, you want to survive. It's not about milling your opponent out. Yes, that is your win con, but you will eventually achieve it if you stay in the game. Yeah? So what you want to do is, if you are going at turn 4 and turn 5, you want to still be on this side. That means your opponent has problems getting his damage onto you, and then what you want to do is to still stay in this side on turn 4 or turn 5. That is your goal. So you want to combo, untap your energy, and just keep yourself surviving. Alright, your turn usually it's super fast, because what you want to do is to play an energy, obviously play a blue energy, not using this. I'm just using this because the cards are in my hands. Play a blue energy, swing, end the game. End the turn, not end the game. End the turn. Alright, that's what you want to do. Some tips about playing Janemba. Basically, remember that when this card attacks, you get to draw 1 card. What you want to do is, number 1, you don't want to attack their leader if it is possible, because you don't want them to get the extra card. So you want to limit the hand, you want to remove the hand advantage, the card advantage that they will have if you attack the leader. Second thing is, you will want to attack, draw 1 card. You always want to leave your energy open. That is something that you want to do. Alright, so that's that. Basically, that's all, right? I would like to talk about then some of the interesting cards that you will be playing. Okay, maybe the interactions between these 2 cards. So, let's put it here. These 2 cards are almost identical, but the way that you play it is very different. So, both of them are 20k, they are critical, and they have deflect. That means they cannot be counterplayed. They will arrive on the board safe. there is no counterplaying against them. The difference between these two is, for this guy, if your opponent has 4 or more energy and then you do not have any battle cards in your battle area, this card's cost becomes 1. So you can play him for 1 energy. And also at the end of your turn, when you end your turn, you get to put it underneath your deck. You put it back into your deck at the bottom of your deck, and your opponent gets to mill 2. So he has a mill 2 ability that you can swing at your opponent's leader, or you could swing at one of his battle cards just to take out any threats. Remember, your whole idea is not to get your opponent down to 0 for his life. Your whole idea is to outlast your opponent. So if you swing at his battle card, there is a chance that you remove any threats. It's more important for you to remove threats on the table than getting your opponent's life down to 0. Alright? Now this card. The difference between him and this card is this, that he is an activate main, so it's not at the end of your turn. You could activate it during your main phase. You get to place this card at the bottom of your deck. You get to choose one of your opponent's battle card, you warp it, so he is a threat removal. That's great. I actually used this to remove a Ultra Instinct. That's so, the feeling was really good. So swing, you get to use him, put it under the bottom of the deck, and your opponent mills 2. There's a chance that you can mill 6 in 1 turn, so he gets to mill 2, he gets to mill 2, and he gets to mill 2. So the idea of playing this 4 cards is this. Swing, get your opponent to mill 1, play him, swing, get your opponent to mill 2, alright, play this card, get your opponent to mill, play this card, mill 2, so your opponent totally has to mill 4, and then you get to warp one of your opponent's battle card. Then your battle area is empty, play this card for 1 energy, swing, and then get your opponent to mill 2 more, right? So in that turn, your opponent has to mill 6. Milling 6 does not sound like, oh, this is crazy and stuff like that, but let me guarantee you, especially at this current meta where a lot of decks are drawing so much, milling 6 is very deadly. Alright, so how do you get there? Now what I'm gonna do is maybe I'm gonna talk about how to play against certain deck types. Alright, let's do that. So maybe let's talk about how to play against Shenron. It is so good for this deck to play against Shenron. The reason why is that maybe let me bring out my Shenron deck. Yes, I have 2 over here. That's great. Alright. Let's talk about playing against Shenron deck. The reason why it is so good against Shenron is because of this. They need 7 Dragon Balls in their drop area, and usually they get it so fast. So with 7 Dragon Balls, they draw 7 cards. That means out of the total of for their decks, they already start off with a very mega disadvantage because they start off with 36 cards instead of the default 50, right? So for 7, they need 7 Dragon Balls. 7 Dragon Balls use them 7 cards. They get only 36 cards in their decks. So essentially, they are thinning out their decks so quickly. And then out of that 36 cards, 6 cards are in their hands. They have to draw that to start the turn. And then they have additional 8 cards in their life. So you could imagine they have only 22 cards to go. And not to say that every single turn they have to draw the cards, and every single super combos they draw additional cards also. So it is very disadvantage for them to play against Janemba Mill. So what you want to do is this. Turn 1, when you're playing against him, because usually for Dragon Ball, when you are playing against a Shenron deck, you could expect that during turn 1 and turn 2, they are setting up their combos. So you could expect that they are not gonna attack you. So playing against these are the cards that would definitely help you a lot to help the milling faster. Alright, so what are this? This is a Sake Demon, And when you play this, you get to look at top 7. And then you pick up this is a searcher. Right? You get to look at top 7, and then you get to draw a card. Not you get to draw a card, you get to pick one Janemba, and then you get to add it into your hands. Or you get to look at the bottom card. So this is a very good searcher. I would definitely recommend playing him, right, in your deck. However, I can understand if you want to put more defensive card instead of him, that's totally okay. The second card that we would like to talk about is this card. This is the Childish Heart Janemba. It gets to evolve 2. And activate main, you get to tap 1 blue, so choose up to 1 Janemba cards from your deck, and then you send. And you may send it to your warp. It's a very, very strange wording, right? Then shuffle your deck and place this card at the bottom of the deck. So you get to choose 1 Janemba card, send it to warp. Then you get to shuffle your deck, put this underneath your deck, and then you get to play the Janemba card at the end of the turn. Why do they have to do that? I have no idea, but that's it. So what you want to do is this. During your first turn, you play him, you swing, make your opponent draw mill 2. This is only against Shenron, alright? So don't do this against aggro, because this is horrible against aggro. Don't tap out against aggro decks. If it's Shenron, understandably, turn 1, turn 2, they are not gonna hit that hard, so it's totally fine to tap out. So turn 1, play this, swing, draw a card, and turn. Turn 2, evolve, then end turn. So you're basically tapped out, just in case you got attacked, but it is usually very, very fine. Unless it's Shenron veggies, they could come at you really, really quickly. Expect that turn 2, they will attack, but it really depends. Veggie draws a lot also. That's their extremely bad point. So if you want to go defensive against veggies, Shenron, that's totally fine. I can understand. But if you feel that you could take the risk and risk this, so you could tap turn 1, turn 2, and you're totally fine. Because turn 3, you have 3 energies, you could already start the combos, right? Normally what I would do is I would tap out. I would not tap out on turn 3. So the whole idea is turn 3, just keep your 3 energy open like this. It's totally fine. He has barrier, swing, and make your opponent drop. Get ready for aggression, because usually that's when the aggression starts, and your opponent comes in with a lot of aggressions, like he do this, he does that, and then he tries to destroy you, yada yada yada. His battle cards are out. Turn 4, so defend it with, like I said, this guy. Defend it with your defensive cards like this, and then defensive cards like that. So defend, 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 defend. You want to keep yourself alive, right? So turn 3, don't tap out. Set up using the first 1 or 2 turns to set up your combos like that. No. So turn 4, hopefully you would have cards like that in your hands, because this is what you want to do in turn 4. You have 4 energies. So you could tap 1, you could swing with this guy, and if there is any threats, if there is no threat, it's fine. You could just straight away go and use his ability, bring this card, send it to warp, put him down, swing, try to remove threats, activate his main ability, make your opponent Mewtwo. Then after that, play him, because your board will be empty. These 3 cards are underneath your deck. Play him for 1 energy. So basically you use, out of your 4 energy, you use only 2 energy. Swing, swing, draw 1 card, so you get 1 draw, and after Mewtwo, 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 so you get to Mew 6, and then with this card, at the end of the turn, put it underneath your deck and make your opponent Mew even more. So in the end, you Mew 6 in turn 4. It is extremely deadly for your opponent, because at this point of time, you have 1 turn, Mewtwo, 2nd turn, Mewtwo, 3rd turn, Mew 6, 4th, you Mew another 6, you Mew already 12 cards from your opponent's hand and from your opponent's deck, considering they start with a deposit of 22 cards, they don't have much to play. So they have 10 more cards in their deck, and that's how you're gonna, and they will not survive too much. Alright, so that is how I will play against Shenron. So Shenron Gogeta, take note, if you're playing against Shenron Gogeta, maybe some of the cards that you want to side in is, usually you will survive. The reason why is your opponent, you try to keep yourself at very high life. They don't really attack until they need to, so don't get greedy. Sometimes you want to take the 2 cards. It's totally understandable when their 5-drop comes in. Some of the cards that helps you to survive against Gogeta is cards like Group Leader Pilaf. I play 2 in my deck. I really love him because when he swings, if you are so lucky that you get this in your hands, right? When you play this, you get to choose one keyword, choose triple attack, so they cannot triple attack you, and so that's how you could survive. So they could only swing 1 turn, you take triple attack away. Alright, so this is how you survive. One of the important thing against playing Shenron Gogeta is this, that always take your first 2 turns to set this guy up. I already explained how this guy works. Set him out. When his Shenron Majesty Shenron, you know, the 4-drop that can give it 5k and critical comes out, this is when you want to take it out. So this is your target. He might have going all cards Vegeta, you know, that card that goes triple strike. That might be a very interesting target and very tempting target for you to take out. Nope. Use this, take out his Shenron, because you want to take triple, you want to take the ability to give any of his cards critical away. The reason why, it's because if you have 8 life and his Gogeta comes out, or 7 life when his 7-drop Gogeta comes out, he have only 3 cards. It is so good for you because if he does not have critical, if he swings at you, he could swing twice and you get to draw 6 cards into your hands. So it is extremely important for you to take out his Shenron Majesty so that you could remove the ability for him to give critical. So that even though you have 3 cards, he could swing twice, you could draw 6 cards, and then you have more options. Especially his last swing, you could, if you do not get any negate or you are so unlucky for you to do anything, just use his ability, drop 1 blue card and negate the last attack so that you stay alive. He will not be alive very much after his attack because he would have already committed a lot. So most probably the next turn you could try to take him out. Alright? So that's how you need to play against Shenron Gogeta. Again, like I said, set this one up, get ready, remove his Majesty, his Shenron Majesty, the 4-drop, so that you could essentially take, just a second, so that you could essentially make sure that you remove the ability for him to get critical, and then have cards like that. If you are lucky to draw into him when he swings, take away the ability for triple attack. And of course, let's talk about Stomp. Okay, for Stomp, never tapped out. Okay, so the whole idea about setting this one up, throw it out of the window. When you are against Stomp players, so there are 2 types of Stomp. The first one is the 1-drop Stomp, which is the red ones, where they are playing Crit Trunks, where they're playing Kappa, and so that is one type of Stomp that you will be facing. Those Stomps, in my opinion, are actually kind of a little bit easier to handle. The reason why is because they don't have a lot of card draws, and not that they don't have a lot of card draws, they don't have as much card draws as they possibly have, and most of the time they draw a card, they are coming from their life, right? So it is important when you're playing against them that you play Crisis Crusher. So that would be a card that I will side in for Crisis Crusher. Unfortunately, I do not have Crisis Crusher prepared for this video, so that's that. Hopefully you will be able to get Crisis Crusher. So your whole idea is you play Crisis Crusher so that they will not play the 1-drop. However, that is not the one that you would be facing most of the time in your local tourneys or in the tournaments. The reason why is because of the availability of Crisis Crusher. Many people are playing Crisis Crusher, so hopefully Stomp will not be so prevalent there. And with the release of Clash of Fate, you could play that 1-drop blue card that basically just says that they cannot untap their energy. That basically negates Stomp. Alright, so what happens if you're playing against the blue, the yellow variants of Stomp, right? The swap Stomp, where they play Bardock's Progenitor again, and then with the Gold Tanks. What you want to do is play this, play 1 energy, don't tap out. Hopefully you go first, because that will ensure your survivability by much more. Push yourself up to 15. So that they need to commit cards, because Bardock's Progenitor swings at 10, Gold Tank swings at 10, you want to put yourself at 15, and then do this. So some of the tricks that you can do is like this, or some of the, not tricks, but you know, basic stuff that you can do is, just in case that you like not if you're a beginner, maybe there's some tips for you. For example, when you have 2, it's your turn 2, right? You play 1 energy, and your turn. Don't get frustrated that you are not playing anything. It's totally fine. Your whole idea is to outlast your opponent. Take note of that. So what you want to do is, when your opponent swings at you, tap 1, get to draw 1 card into your hands, right? So you don't take the damage. And then your opponent swings again, then do Sensu. Don't waste that Sensu because the Sensu could help you to untap 1 energy. So don't waste that Sensu. Don't do this. And then tap and use this. Alright, always tap first, then Sensu. Then it brings yourself up to 15. Your opponent would have a much harder time to hit you. So I don't have actually much tips for you to play against Stomp. The whole idea is you want to survive. That's what you want to do. So all you want to do, you just have to combo it out. There are just so many options for you in this deck to combo it out. You have this guy to help you, this guy to help you, and of course this guy to help you, and they will help you to survive your whole entire turn. And hopefully, of course, we are playing this super combo. You don't have to get into 4 life just to draw a card. When you have 5 in your battle area, in your drop area, you get to draw a card already. So you want to survive. Stomp usually fizzle out at turn 3. So they could swing, they could swing, they could swing, they could swing. If they don't kill you by turn 3, you are comfortable, because by the time it's turn 3, either it's their turn 3, either you have 3 energy, or when the time comes for turn 4, either you have 3 energy, or if you're going first, you have 4 energy to survive, right? Alright, so that's what you want to do. And against spammy decks like veggies, 3 energy. However, you're gonna be tapped out. It's totally fine, because you will play Xeno button. That is the reason why it is very, very important for you to play your energy as blue, because you get to switch all your energy to active mode, counter attack. So take note, it is extremely important that when you play this, you miss your counter windows already, right? So you cannot negate the attack after you switch it. So at a turn, just hopefully play it very, very smartly, that you know that they can swing with their leaders or something that's non-threatening. Go, counter attack, switch all your energy to active. One of the best cards negates in the game right now, and because you're playing blue, you get access to it. Sparkling 5, you get to take 1 life, and then you get to untap 2 of your energy. Alright, so you get to increase the hand size, and then you get to untap 2 energies for 0 energy. That's really, really ridiculously good. Alright, so I guess this is the end of the video. So in summary, what you want to do here is to outlast your opponent. If you're playing against decks that are drawing that much, that is extremely, extremely good. Alright, so Janemba, what are they essentially weak to? They are weak to hand destruction decks. So people who are playing green, like the androids, they are weak against, because if you don't have cards in your hands, it's the same, right? How do you defend against, how do you defend if you don't have cards in your hands and you're not attacking that much either? So that's that. I don't have any advice on how to play against, because I am also weak against playing against androids and Cell. So if there are experts out there reading this video, watching this video, if you have any suggestions, feel free to comment on it and to give advice on how to play Janemba, or how do you play around Cell Chain, Super Android, Super 17 Chain, and hand destruction decks. If not, I shall leave you with this. I hope, I would definitely love to hear your comments on how I can improve this, or is this helpful, and how can we better make this series of videos so much better and more educational or entertaining. If not, I will just leave you. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and if you stay with me for that long, thank you so much, and then we see each other in the next video for the channel. Alright, have a nice day, and ciao, bye.